Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is, who cares? Who cares what today is?
Victory Monday.
The number doesn't matter. It is Victory Monday.
Another
How about that?
one.
Oh, my goodness. You know, total beatdown. Beatdown.
It was, we've been on the wrong end of so many of those games that,
yeah,
it feels great, but also I feel bad for the opposing.
That's such a female thing, man. You know, I'm like the old Conan saying, "What is the best in life? Watching your opponents bleed before you." Whatever. we got a neighbor who is a Chicago Bears fan. He avoided me Saturday. I actually went out to go and harass him, and he like ran inside. And I haven't seen him since.
Oh, man.
So, I can't wait to see him or rag on him. We have another neighbor who was a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so I went out and put all my flags up facing his house.
2 flags.
Yeah. I got 2 big flags. One is the old school Bucco Bruce, and the other one is the newer flag. And I put them out facing his house, and then about an hour later, I went out there, and he had put up the little Philadelphia flag.
It was so tiny.
It was so itty bitty, and it was a St. Patrick's Day flag.
Yeah, I thought it was like an
sponsor.
Irish flag. It wasn't even really the colors. It just had the Eagles emblem like at the bottom.
Yeah, it had orange in it too. I didn't get that anything. So anyhow, the next day,
it was
after
gone.
the game, it was gone. And then I saw him out. And of course, I ran over. I was like, "Hey, what's going on, man?"
Decked out in Bucs gear head to toe.
He said, "How you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm doing great, especially after whooping y'all's butt. That was just fun. How are you doing?"
Sad.
I wrote down the suicide hotline number, gave it to him. He knew that we had talked earlier. He was like, "Y'all gonna whoop us." And the Chicago Bears fan, I had talked to him about a week ago, and he was like, "Well, just don't beat us too bad, man." I was like, "Y'all getting ready to walk into a buzzsaw."
I know.
Sorry.
No mercy.
Yeah, not a whole lot I could do about it, except enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
The blood splatter. And it was. And if we would have had a podcast, that's exactly what we said was going to happen. I would have predicted probably 50-10, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I would have given 10 points. And sure enough, they didn't even get a touchdown.
Mm-mm.
That was bad. They're just a bad team. And, we're really going to whoop up on bad teams, and, the Philadelphia, I think they played well. It was probably the best game they played all year. It surprised me at their game plan. They didn't try a lot of short passes to the outside that have been effective against us. But, man, they were slinging it deep. And which is, if we would have done a podcast for that game, I would have said, that's something I saw in film, that they do a lot of short passes and then go deep a lot. So they keep you on your toes with that. But they just gave up the short passes. They're just slinging it down the field.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked for them because they were getting penalties. So, and that's what if I was Todd Bowles, that's what I'd be telling my guys. I was like, look, don't let them catch the damn ball. Get a penalty and nothing else, because, people are ragging on us about our stats. I'd rather not have a completed pass. Because when you say this team gets penalized a lot, it's not offense, defense, special teams. It's just the whole team is punished for that, right? Mm-hmm. They all get lumped in. But if you give up a bunch of stats on your, the yardage on the big plays, that's straight on the secondary.
Yeah.
So
and then they're going to talk about how bad your secondary
exactly.
is. So.
Yeah. Yeah, in this game, the Chicago game, they were talking about our penalties, and they were like, yeah, they're one of the most penalized teams in the league. They didn't say anything about the secondary giving up, 150 yards. I think they might have, but like I said, it's a team effort with penalties. So that's what if I was Bowles, that's what I'd be telling the guys.
Yeah, that's right, because it doesn't really reflect on anyone in particular.
Yeah. So we got a good show for you today because we won. It's going to be a happy show, and we're going to talk about how awesome we are. We do have some other stuff we're going to get to. We want to talk a little bit about what's happened with us and why we disappeared there for a couple of weeks.
Divorce. Just kidding. Everyone always goes to that. So.
And I do want to thank the listeners out there, man. Y'all guys are great.
I know. We had so many people reach out.
We just got bombarded. And
I know.
We'll touch on all that here in a minute. And there's some stuff going on around the league. We're gonna talk about the game a lot. But we're gonna cover some stuff around the league and some Bucs news after all that. But first off, I got a real quick fact check and follow up. This is a fact check. This is from 2 weeks ago in the Miami game. We had a listener say that we were down 17-10 at one point against the Dolphins. And as soon as he pointed it out to us, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Because we had said there was never a point in that game where we felt threatened. And I think I had said, they were only they got the lead at the beginning of the game, and then we just took over and that was it. But even still, that kind of solidifies the point I was making. When they were up 17-10, I had no doubt that we were going to win that game. And it's such a weird feeling. It's been since, I don't even know if I've ever had this feeling with the Buccaneers. Just the confidence. Every single game, I'm just like, oh, we got this. Calm, cool, collected.
Yeah. I'm never worried. I even felt that way last year in the playoffs and then the Super Bowl. In particular, the Green Bay game, I knew we had a lock on, and the Super Bowl, I was like, and it's just carried over this year. I think before this, we always had Jameis, who you can never underestimate his ability to fuck up a lead like every time. So, we don't have that anymore.
Yeah, we got pretty consistent gunslinger back there. So we appreciate you staying on top of us, keeping us accountable for that. So the Dolphins were up at 17-10. They were up 3-0 in the first quarter. They scored first, and then going into the half, I think they were up 17-10, something like that. So they were actually, and, watching the game film, Miami, they're not a bad team. They're just not a good team.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Mediocre. And
they lost yesterday to the Falcons, like barely.
Yeah, I was rooting for them.
I mean, the Falcons almost gave up that lead. They had like, a 14-point lead or something. It was a double-digit lead, and they let the Dolphins come back. And I think the Dolphins at that point were leading by 2, and then the Falcons, I think they got a turnover and then kicked a field goal. And
no, they just got the ball and drove it down the field. Because remember, I was like, man, the Dolphins offense is so mad at their defense for letting them do that.
Yeah.
Because the Dolphins came back and went down the field, got the lead with, I think it was a minute some left. Might have been 2 minutes. And then Atlanta just slowly moved down the field, got in field goal range, kicked it with no time left on the clock.
Okay. Yeah. It was so close.
Yeah, I was rooting for the Dolphins.
I know.
But we did see the Carolina Panthers lose. That was nice. Boy,
the Giants.
I tell you, we're pretty good at seeing what's coming. And we said at the beginning of the year, everybody was like, "Ooh, the Panthers are awesome and everything." And I'm like, nope. But I said it in off season. I said they're going to be a mess. And without McCaffrey, they're nothing.
Yeah.
And they've actually ended up pulling their quarterback in the fourth quarter.
Oh, right.
Because he was just playing so bad.
Yeah,
he's thrown a lot of interceptions and just not playing well. Which, when they got him in that trade, I went and looked game film on it. I was like, oh, he's not good.
Ugh, why?
This is great for us.
I know.
So that was good. It was good to watch the games yesterday.
Yeah.
And get some well-roundedness. It's going to be good to watch the Saints tonight. I hope they get beat up. But, Seattle, they're not playing too good. They got Russell Wilson is out. Broken jaw Geno, he's going to be playing as quarterback. And, he played great when he came in the first game, and then the second game, not so good. this game. We'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be very similar teams.
I was just thinking like Gino and Jameis are really on the
similar.
Same level, very similar.
But New Orleans defense is a lot better than Seattle, so I think that might be the difference in the game. So I'm playing Molly in fantasy this week. She has Tom Brady and the Buccaneers defense, who ended up scoring like 25 points.
Yeah.
And I have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So I am 15 points behind her, and I've got one player left tonight, and it's Alex Collins, running back for the Seattle Seahawks, which is just horrible.
It could go either way.
It could, but it's,
Maybe not. But
I ain't got a lot of faith in it.
Last week, I was like a shoo-in to win. The guy had one player left. It was the Baltimore tight end, Andrews, and he scored 36 points, and I lost. Yeah. So I'm on a 4-lose streak. So I'm not... I don't like my chances. I wish I had a bigger cushion. I
know you swiped my players in the draft purposely just to and then you're not even winning. You know how I would be killing it.
This is like the one year I've tried really hard too. That's the worst part. I know. Like I've been playing the waiver wire. I've been researching. I've been keeping track of who's hurt, and it's not helping me.
Yes. All right, guys. We want to touch on why we disappeared for the past couple of weeks. I think the last podcast we did was the 7th or the 6th.
Has it been that long?
I don't know. Maybe it was the 13th. I don't remember. It was right before the Philadelphia game.
Okay. I think the last one we did was on the 11th. That was our anniversary.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what happened. So 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll work. So yeah, it's been a while, and like I said, we really, really, really appreciate you guys, reaching out and letting us know that you care about the podcast. And that's one of the reasons we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. It's been a while. And we started it off, we wanted to, just give a different perspective. We're not stat people. We're not the media. We don't have access. We're fans. And we wanted to bring a fan perspective and, because I watch a lot of game film, and Molly has always been on me for years. She was like, you need to do something with that. You need to do something with that because, you see the game different than most people. So we decided to do this podcast, and we've really enjoyed doing it. The issue that we've run across is we have so many projects going, and Molly's got a new business she's starting, and it's really taken a lot of her time. And because we have not monetized, we have never tried to really make money with this. It keeps getting bumped down to the bottom of our priority list. And we realized that, we're putting a lot of time into this podcast and, the YouTube channel and all that good stuff. And there's, the reward we're getting is, the listeners, you guys interacting with us. But without having any financial or really tangible rewards, it's making it so we can't make this a priority. So we've decided that we're going to push a little bit to get this, to kind of hold ourselves accountable, give listeners opportunities to support the channel financially so that we feel obligated to do this. It's not something that we can just brush off if we don't feel like doing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Am I saying all this right, Molly?
Yeah.
So we've set up a sponsorship right now with Anchor Podcasting. If you want to go check them out, that's a good idea. But we're going to have, what they have is a, what's it called? A
like
sponsorship.
A donation.
Yeah, donation thing. It's kind of like Patreon or something like that. We didn't want to go through Patreon because, well, we got our reasons. But Anchor has a sponsorship thing. You do as much as you want or whatever. So we're going to have that link in the description, probably going to put it up on the website and all that good stuff. So, if you want to, help us out, and we figure if we get anything out of it, that's going to make us feel like, hey, the people care, and we're going to have a we're going to be accountable. I mean, if people are giving you money and their time and attention, you don't want to slack off. It'll probably make us more. We'll probably be doing more stuff with the Buccaneers Observer. So that's one of the big reasons. Another big reason, and this is probably the biggest reason. This is more like Molly than me. Was the Jon Gruden fiasco. And we're going to talk about that at the end of the podcast. We're going to go into it a little bit more detail, not too much though, and cover that a little bit more. But we don't want to start the podcast out with that because it's kind of depressing. So if you want to, at the end of the podcast, we're going to delve into that a little bit deeper and let you know our thoughts on it and why it kind of put us in a funky state of mind. So moving on. Those are the reasons why we have kind of disappeared for the past couple of weeks. Kind of have to, reset our brains with that stuff. So let's talk about this game.
Okay.
This game, I have a hard time remembering if we really whooped anybody. When was the last time we whooped somebody this bad? I can't remember. Kansas City?
Super Bowl.
Oh.
I mean, right?
Good. Yeah, that was a great answer. Best answer ever, actually. Oh man, it just started off. They got the ball. Our defense goes out there 3 and out. Winfield got a strip sack. And then we get the ball, touchdown. And in that touchdown, in our first drive, Jensen's beaten up on their defense. After the play, there was a Hillman 91. They were all over each other's face. Yeah.
He got him ejected.
Oh my gosh, guys. I was laughing so hard. Molly was sitting there calling that whole game throughout the game.
And this is where I'm like, okay, we have to live stream this because no one will ever know this. Except
she was so upset. She was like, did you record that? I was like, but we're sitting there and there was a flag. This was at the end of the game. There was a flag. And Molly just says, because we didn't know what the flag was for.
And it took forever. Yeah. It was when they were, I think it was on the goal line. We were on the goal line about to score our offense.
And you said, oh, it's Jensen. He got somebody to punch him in the face, and they're probably going to get ejected and everything. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And I was just laughing. The way you said it, you were just so casual. You're like, Jensen done pissed somebody off. He's going to get him ejected. He does that so much. He's so good at
that.
And then right after that, I think we tried to get it in the goal. We didn't. They ended up getting the ball close to their end zone. And you were like, man, that was really stupid of them. They should have just let us score. You said the best case scenario for them here is a safety. And sure enough, they threw an interception. We scored a field goal. It was like, oh, man. You were just killing it yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was when we fumbled at that point. But we were right by the goal line.
Yeah.
And
who fumbled that?
Let me see.
Wasn't Ronald Jones, was it?
Oh, wait. Yeah, it was Ronald Jones.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because he tried to get in twice. Is that the one?
Yeah.
And he fumbled. But it was a 4th down anyhow, right?
Yeah. It was 4th and goal. We were winning by that point. And so then they got it at the 1 yard line. We were like, best case scenario, we're going to get a safety.
Yeah, you just looked at me. You were like, what are they doing?
Why?
Best case, the best thing that's going to happen for them is that they're going to get a safety. 2 points is giving us 2 points.
The minimum that they're giving up right now.
Oh, you were so spot on.
I know.
That was so funny.
Dang it.
You need to drink more. Man, you were wasted. You were wasted. And you were great at football.
I know.
You were just calling everything.
It's a skill.
Yeah. So, we had just about everything went well for us. I will have to say Tom Brady did not play well. He was off target. I say he didn't play well, but he wasn't at his elite level. He threw a lot of bad passes. I think I counted 5.
Kind of like he overthrew a lot of people. Well, you wonder if the thumb's still bothering him.
You hush your mouth.
I mean, he wasn't wearing the tape or anything, so you would think it would be better, but it's uncharacteristic of him to have that many bad passes.
Yes. Yeah, it really is. But other than that, everybody else played great. I mean, our special teams, we had a huge return. Jalen Darden, he brought it back. How long was that? 43 yards. 43? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 43 yards. That was great. And, it's not like it was an accident. Our special teams have improved quite a bit. They focused on it in the draft. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's because they listen to our podcast.
I know. I can't believe that we cut Jaden Mickens, though.
I know. Well, he's back on the special teams, right?
On the practice squad, I think.
Or practice squad, that's what I meant.
Yeah. But still, you're like,
I know.
Well, he had a good game the first week, and then since then he's been a little quiet. So maybe they just thought, okay, it's Jalen Darden time.
Yeah. Hey, he's got a Super Bowl ring. Who cares?
That's true.
JPP played great, and he's got a torn rotator cuff.
Oh my gosh!
He's got his those pins in his fingers, and it is the hand that's got the missing fingers. Okay. So that's just insult to injury.
Well, and how the hell did that happen? I don't understand. Like, they've never really said how he got the injury.
I know.
It just kind of popped up.
But he's like a cyborg. He's like the Terminator. When you can't stop the guy.
No.
Broken necks, missing fingers, bad knees, busted shoulders.
Yeah. Well, and he had 4 total tackles, 3 solo, 2 sacks, a TFL, and then 2 quarterback hits. You're like, what are you? He's an animal.
Yes.
He's just an animal.
He's just a tough guy. He's old school. He's like, I play through the pain. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's ever taken himself out of a game.
No, I don't think so either. No, he never would. You'd have to send him to the locker room to keep him from coming out.
Yes. Shaq Barrett had a great game.
Yeah.
And, I've done the game film. And this is another reason why we kind of took a pause, is because I'm 2 weeks behind on game film. Mm-hmm. Because of the delay in the All-22s coming out with the NFL. It's put me behind. I never have done the Atlanta game. And I'm still working on the Philadelphia game. The Miami game, though. Or wait, did I finish the Philadelphia? No. The Miami game, Barrett, again, dropping back in coverage. We do it with him so much. I think it was 9 times. I mean, that's like 20% of the time he's on the field. Mm-hmm. And it's, he can't rush the passer, when he's dropping back in coverage. So when everybody's talking about, he doesn't have the same stats and everything, yeah, because he's dropping back in coverage a lot. Mm-hmm. A lot.
And I think JPP would probably be back in coverage too if it weren't for his hand. He has a club on his hand.
They dropped him back in coverage 5 times.
Wow.
And when Tryon, yes. When he's in, they drop him back in coverage too. He dropped back 4 times in the Miami game. Mm-hmm. So, we're doing that a lot with our outside linebackers. And, I don't like it, but I hand it to Todd Bowles. He knows more about it. We're winning.
I know.
But I just like to watch Barrett. He is just so much fun to watch. And, he's not getting the opportunities to rush the quarterback like he did in his first year. Mm-hmm. So, but he's making pretty good opportunities. When he's getting the chances, he's doing a lot with it. So, and he's not, that's not his job. He's not a one-trick pony. It's not, here's Shaquille Barrett, he's a pass rusher. No, he's a run stopper. He's a pass defender. He drops back in coverage, but he sets the edge a lot. He's very, very good at that.
I think it would be different if we weren't so stacked with talent. Like, you can't give a guy all the opportunities to make a play because then someone else is not making a play. Like, they got to spread it around. Yeah. We have so many studs on this team. There's no, I think it would be a different story if, we didn't have so many playmakers. Then I think you put Shaq in, or even JPB, or, whoever, insert name here, you put them in more positions to make big plays. But we've got so many guys who can do it that I think you really can't justify focusing all the big plays on one guy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And, Vita was being Vita, from what I could tell. And, Sue, I've been wanting to say this for a while, but Sue has not played that well this year. He's not playing horrible, but he's playing like average. And that's unusual for him. And I've seen him getting pushed around, and I saw him get body slammed once. I have never, ever seen that. But he got put on his ass. This was not the Rams game. Anyhow, I cut it out and made a clip, but I didn't want to put it out there. But yeah, he's something is off. He's got a new kid and
2 kids.
He's got
they
the 2
twins.
Kids. Oh,
yeah.
Well, there you go. That explains it. Yeah.
I think. Yeah. That's what I think.
He hasn't got sleep since January.
No.
But other than that, everybody played good. I mean, look at Delaney. We go out there, and this is what I said a few weeks ago, is that we can plug anybody in our secondary, and we're not going to notice a drop off. I'm sitting here and I'm watching all 22, and you see these guys are performing just as well as our starters every single time. I mean, Sherman was our weakest link. There's no doubt about that. The guy was just not. I would say not prepared, not ready, not in condition, something. But he kind of lost out there. And we plug in these new guys, and they're out there getting interceptions and pass defenses and tackling, and there's no breakdown in our secondary.
Well, and then we got to talk about Kevin Mintzer too, coming in for Lavonte. I mean, he was all over the place yesterday.
Yes, he has played great, which we all knew. I mean, he's a great linebacker. He was interviewed, and they asked him if he had prepared any different for being a starter. And he said no. He said, with this coaching staff, everybody practices like their first string. He said there was absolutely no difference in anything he did to prepare for that game. He said, because that's how we all are. And that's what they do. Arians, they run 2 practices at one time. That's why we have so many coaches, because we run, and then they switch players out all the time. They don't have just all the first string guys over here in first team practice and all the second string guys in second string practice. They're constantly flopping guys back and forth. And you see it during the game. The only guys that don't get mixed back and forth is our offensive line. But we do bring in Josh Wells and Stinney and those guys for big jumbo packages and stuff. So everybody gets to play all the time on this team.
Well, with Kevin Mintzer, there's something there too, because when Devin White did his show, the first episode, they brought Lavonte on there, and they both said Kevin Mintzer was one of their favorite players on the team. And so I think there's something there with him. It seems to be a really great locker room presence.
Yes. And, he's a veteran. He knows all this stuff. He's played with Arians before. So, very, very impressed with our second string guys that have had to come in and plug and play.
Yeah, and definitely in the secondary, because we have Ross Cockrell, who he played with us last year. Love him. But then we have D. Delaney, who's completely new this year, and then Pierre Desir, completely new this year, and they came in and played.
Didn't both of them get an interception? D. Delaney got one.
Yes.
Pierre Desir.
Let me see. Pierre Desir has a pass defense. D. Delaney has a pass defense. Let me look at the interceptions. Look at D. Delaney. Yeah, both of them did.
That's incredible.
Good grief. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, we've said this for the 2 years now, that our second string guys would be starters on any other team. You look at Johnson, our wide receiver, Scotty Miller, even Mickens probably, would be a starter on any other team. Cameron Brate, he
did not play well yesterday. I thought I was really disappointed. He had 4 targets. He didn't catch a single one.
Cam.
I know.
Yeah, our defense was the star of this game.
Yeah.
5 turnovers. 5. Poor Chicago.
Poor Justin Fields, dude. Well, I didn't realize that he was talking so much shit during the preseason, where he said, the NFL, it's kind of slow pace for me.
Yeah.
So I think the league has just not let him live that down. I had no idea he said that. His QBR, I've never seen a QBR this low. It's 1.9.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, we don't really, stats are not our thing, but I've never seen one that bad. He had 184 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 4 sacks.
Wow. Man. So we're 6-1. This is the first time we've ever done that in Buccaneers history. We were 35-3 going into halftime. That's the most points we've ever scored in a half. Brady ended up with 4 touchdowns again. Mm-hmm. He's on a record-breaking pace. I mean, he had 9 touchdowns in the first 2 games, and he pretty much kept that pace up.
I know.
I think he needs 2 touchdowns, like 2.3 touchdowns, to break the record going forward per game. Something like that.
Wait, I thought he had the most. No, he had the 600 passing touchdowns.
That's right.
The record.
No, I'm talking about single season touchdown record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like which record are you talking about, Ralph? There's so many.
Every time we move on the Buccaneers, somebody's breaking a record. That's just how it is now. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Remember 3 years ago, the only records we were breaking was the interceptions?
Yes.
Throwing them?
Yeah.
So Tom Brady throws his 600th interception or touchdown to Mike Evans. Mike Evans runs over and hands it to somebody in the stands who's wearing a Mike Evans throwback jersey.
Yeah.
And everybody freaks out. And that's what Mike Evans does. He always gives the ball to whoever's wearing 13 in the stands. And this guy, he got, do you know how much that ball was worth?
I know, but what a fan.
Oh, yeah, I'd give it back.
Amazing.
I probably would have put it under my shirt and ran out of the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing's worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Apparently, his name is out there. He's a medical student or a doctor or something like that. And he's getting all kinds of accolades and awards. He's getting like $1,000 gift certificate to the Buccaneers store, free tickets, jerseys, helmets.
Good.
Yeah.
But would any of us have done any different? I would have given it back.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
No question I would have given that back.
Just think about how
Tom Brady.
Mike Evans, he was probably like, oh, damn, dude, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to give
He did. There was a video of him on the sideline when they told him, like, hey, you just gave the 600th touchdown ball away. And he was like, oh, my God, I did? He had no idea.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But, that's awesome, too. Just because he has become so humble, he, to not even think of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he was more upset for Brady than he was for him. But, he's part of that. He's going down in the history books forever.
Yeah.
As catching that pass.
Yep.
So that was awesome. And then there was the whole Tom Brady with the kid at the end of the game. That was great.
Did you see that kid had beat cancer?
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. He had put up a sign. So did Tom give him the gloves?
No, they looked like they fit him.
Yeah.
So I think he was there ready to catch a ball.
Oh.
Tom gave him the hat. It looked like it was signed or something.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. That was pretty cool, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, it was really good for us in many, many different ways. Mm-hmm. It was, I'm a defensive guy, and I just love seeing the defense beat up on people like this. JPP and Barrett and Veda and our second, we were just mauling these guys. Did you see Donovan Smith walking out of the stadium?
Yes.
And he said, 99's my little boy now? What did he say?
Yeah, I made 99 my son.
I made 99 my son. Oh, my gosh. They're talking crap. And Wirfs didn't give up any pressures or sacks that I saw.
It was a revenge game against Khalil Mack.
I want to see if he did anything mean to Khalil Mack.
Okay.
So I don't know who he was talking about, number 99. That's Travis Gibson, outside linebacker. I don't know if that. I'm pretty sure he said 99. So
yeah, it was 99.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he made Gibson his son.
Which I love. I love this Donovan.
Yes,
I
do
too.
So fun. He's been destroying people this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some clips of that. So
yeah, he seems like he's got some real fire in his belly this year.
Yeah, he did have that lazy game against, I think it was Miami.
But that wasn't his fault.
No.
It was just they didn't send anybody over there to him.
No, it was the Patriots. Yeah, they didn't even try.
Yeah. Which I'm like, he's not our shutdown lineman.
Yeah, now Evans had a great game. Godwin had a great game. But I think on offense, game ball goes to Fournette. Good Lord, is he running? He's doing great.
Yeah.
He's doing great. And that's saying something, too, without Gronkowski out there blocking for him. Mm-hmm. You know, and he's still popping stuff off, running people over.
Well, Rojo had a good game this game, too. He had 63 yards. Fournette had 81. Yeah. We had 182 yards rushing.
Wow.
So that was almost 50-50. I think more balanced than we have been. We had 182 yards rushing, 226 passing.
Well, they asked Byron Leftwich a couple weeks ago, or last week, said, the running game's gotten better. Have y'all adjusted your blocking, or what is it you've done to increase your running game proficiency? And he said, we've been running the ball. He said normally we don't run the ball. We don't plan to run the ball. He's like, now we're running the ball. We're bouncing it out, and that's why our running game has gotten so good, is because we're doing it now.
Well, and you argued with me about this. I think Fournette is making the case for them to play him. Mm-hmm. I think that he's just running so well, they don't really have a choice, but they have to run him.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And
he wants a big contract.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna get it from Bruce Arians, though.
Well, and he wants to be the number one.
Yeah. He is right now.
I know. Yeah. Which, Rojo, that sucks, dude.
Now, the Bears did get the longest run on us of the year. It was 29 yards.
Yeah. So, and they had a 100-yard rusher, that Herbert. Yeah. They had 143 yards rushing, so that's really going to put a ding in our stats.
In our fantasy league, he is, he's a bell cow starting running back, and nobody touched him because he was going up against the Buccaneers.
Why would you? That's so silly.
Well, he got like 10, 15 points. He didn't get a touchdown or anything.
Right.
Yeah. So we ended up just whooping them so bad. We put Gabbard in the fourth quarter.
Oh, God. He's so... I don't understand. They love Gabbard. I don't know why. I don't get it.
We put our whole second-string offense in, except for a couple linemen that we couldn't replace because we don't have that many linemen, second-string linemen. And then we kept Godwin in for one play, and he caught a pass, and then he went out. So there's something there, some type of record he was getting or a stat or something. And then they get the ball back. We went down and scored a field goal. No, we punted. And they get the ball back, and they put their first-string offense back out there, and we put our second-string defense, which at this point, our second-string defense is pretty much our first-string defense. Mm-hmm. Many of them are playing for injured guys. And we beat them up with our second-string defense against their first-string offense.
Sad state of affairs in Chicago.
Yeah. I ain't mad about it. 38-3. That's how it ended up. I think it was not a complete game. Like I said, I don't think Brady was on point, although he got Evans and Godwin the ball a lot.
He did the job. But it was a very good game. We beat a team that we were, predicted to beat, that we should have beat, and we beat them decisively. And we left a lot of points out on the field. I mean, we had two times we were within the 2-yard line and didn't score. Mm-hmm. Or scored a field goal instead of a touchdown. It was just like, there was 14, 21 points we left out there. And Skid still scored 38. I was mad when they got that 3 points. I was like, man, come on. I know. We wanted a shutout.
What a shutout. What was the last shutout we got? Do you remember?
I don't know.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
All right. So that's that. And, if you have any Chicago Bear fans in your life, console them, make them feel a little bit better. But, this is a man's sport. Don't feel bad for them.
Don't pull a Molly.
We had to go a decade of that type of whoopings, beat downs, and embarrassment. And I don't remember
true.
anybody that's sitting there coddling me, making me feel
never.
better.
That's true.
Okay. Around the league, we are 6-1. The Dallas Cowboys are 5-1. I think they had a bye this week. So I think they're 5-1. Let's pull up the standings.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
The NFC seems to be a little top heavy. AFC, I don't know. They just can't figure anything out over there. I don't know what's going on. Buffalo's 4-2. Tennessee's 4-2 or 5-2. Bengals. Didn't see that one coming at all.
That one I did not see. Well, and I feel better about them beating us in the preseason now. Because I'm like, oh, okay, they're like a legit team. That was not.
I didn't even remember that. You were telling me about it.
I know.
The Bengals are 5-2, and the Ravens are both 5-2.
Right, and so they played yesterday, and the winner takes the lead in the division, which happens to be the Bengals. So good for them. There's always those surprises every year, those sleeper teams. So it appears the Bengals,
Arizona and Cincinnati this year.
Yeah.
The Raiders 5-2. The Chargers are 4-2, which I think the Chargers are the best team in that division, or that that division. I don't think the Raiders are going to make it. But then again, in the NFC, we got the Dallas Cowboys at 5-1. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 6-1. Green Bay Packers are 6-1. The Arizona Cardinals are 7-0, which they've never been. And the Los Angeles Rams are 6-1. So we're top heavy over there. We got the Detroit Lions that are 0-7. Oof. They're the only non-won team in the league right now. But we've got AFC, you got the Miami Dolphins at 1-6, the New York Jets at 1-5, Jacksonville Jaguars 1-5, Houston Texans are 1-6. And we don't have any of that in the NFC. We have a bunch of 2-5 teams, 3-3s, 3-4s. The NFC East, they're all 2-5 except for Dallas Cowboys are 5-1. NFC South, everybody's under. Let me see. The Saints are 3-2. Which hopefully after tonight they'll be 3-3. The Falcons are 3-3, and the Carolina Panthers are 3-4. Isn't that funny? Just a couple weeks ago they were at the top of the division. How fast they fall. Green Bay Packers. Nobody in that division has a winning record except for the Packers. Which
I am surprised the Packers pulled it together. I didn't expect that.
Me too.
I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I thought they had blown it up. And
wishful thinking, probably.
Yeah. Then in the NFC West, you've got the Cardinals and the Rams are at top. And then the Seahawks and the 49ers are both at 2-4.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Seattle.
What happened?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Wow.
So I don't really see any competition in the AFC. The Bills, I think their defense is really good. They're slinging the ball. But I just don't have faith that they're going to be able to, plow through the playoffs and meet us in the Super Bowl. It's not going to happen. We do play them at the end of the year, right?
I don't know what week it is, but yes, we do play them.
Okay. Titans, they're looking tough. They're just running it down people's throats. They started off the year not doing that too much, and then now they've gotten back to their roots.
Yeah. Oh, so we play Buffalo December 12th. So yeah, at the end of the year.
The Ravens are the Ravens. They're always going to be a good team with John Harbaugh there, blocking and tackling. That's what they do. They're just masters at it. So they'll always be in the mix. Raiders, I think they're on the downward trend.
Yeah.
Especially with all this Gruden stuff. And then the Chargers, I think they're better than their record shows, but we'll see.
I mean, and it's hard there, the rookie quarterback, there's going to be some growing pains. They have new coaching staff this year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Remains to be seen.
The team I'm worried about now in the NFC is the Cardinals, and it's not just because of their record, but watching them, I'm just like, whoa, they look really good.
I haven't watched them that closely, but I'm not, I don't. With teams who peak so early, I don't really have a lot of faith that it's very hard to keep that up the whole season.
Yeah.
And, we saw last year the Steelers went 9-0 and then completely dropped off. Like I don't know what they finished, 10-6, 11-5 maybe.
Yeah, they backed into the playoffs and got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah. So to me, I'm like with the Cardinals, like show me. We'll talk at the end of the season. I'm not completely sold. I do trust your judgment as far as team analysis goes, but I haven't seen anything that really knocks my socks off. Although I haven't watched them that closely. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, they're doing a lot of innovative stuff, and I like that. And they're making it work, and they're beating the best out of teams. I mean, they're not even close games. Let me see. They played the Titans week 1, 38-13. They played the Vikings week 2, 34-33. That was their closest game. The Jacksonville Jaguars, 31-19. The Rams, 37-20.
Ooh, they just destroyed them.
Yeah, they did.
And that's a division opponent, so that's a really difficult win.
San Francisco, 17-10. It's the first time they didn't score 30 points. It's the only time this year that they haven't scored over 30 points. The Cleveland Browns, they beat up 37-14 at Cleveland. And then, they played the Houston Texans this week and beat them up 31-5, which is pretty much exactly what we did to Chicago. So I think they're kind of at our level, and I didn't see it coming.
No.
But they've been getting free agents and really building a monster team over there. So got to keep an eye on them.
And it's surprising to me, especially when you play the coaching carousel. And I guess Cliff Kingsbury's been there a couple of years, but we'll see.
But Kyle Murray, he's a running quarterback, little guy, but he's just so fast and he makes good decisions, and I don't know how he sees over those linemen, to be honest with you. But he can get outside the pocket, but he doesn't really put himself in danger. And I've been talking about this year that the quarterback play in the league has just been crap. It's just been horrible, and I think it's the Patrick Mahomes effect. Me and Molly have been working on a video for that. We've had a couple of listeners request it. The Patrick Mahomes, he's a talented guy. He's a very good athlete, and I like him a lot as a person. But I can't stand those type of players. They're just, they depend too much on their athleticism. And the quarterback position is not about athleticism. It's about, your brain, making the right decisions. And we've got a whole league now of guys who are just running outside the pocket any chance they get and just throwing the ball up anytime they get hit. And it's really ugly quarterback play. And we saw this weekend, and we had talked about this last year, that, Mahomes hasn't gotten hurt yet. He hasn't gotten hit, but he runs like a guy who's not worried about getting hurt. And we've seen this happen all throughout the NFL.
So many times. Let's run down the list. Cam Newton,
RG3.
Russell Wilson.
These guys, they run and they think that they can take all these hits. They can, just get hit and just, they're not going to slide. They're going to, get that first down and, they're going to run through the middle of the line and run down the middle of the field and just try and get as many yards as they can, blah, blah, blah. And while it's fantastic to watch, it's fun, it's entertaining, you get hit by these professional hitters, at one time, it's going to end your career. And we've seen it, The RG3 is a perfect example to me. I mean, the guy, he was a great runner and everything, and then bam, that was it. And, these guys aren't built, they're not running backs.
No.
They're not professional getting hitters.
And you just can't keep it up. And too often they rely on their legs. Cam Newton's a perfect example of this. They rely on their legs. And then when they get to the point where they can't run anymore, it's not smart to run. One, the league knows what you're going to do. Two, they figured out how to stop you.
And three, you're so banged up. Your shoulders are messed up.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at, is that you eventually are to the point where you're forced to stay in the pocket, and a lot of times they can't play like that. Like, look at Cam Newton. Between the injuries from getting hit, and he never really had a strong arm to begin with, as far as accuracy goes. Yeah. It's you can't, it's not sustainable in the long term. So all these people that wanted to crown Pat Mahomes as the next Michael Jordan, the second coming of Tom Brady, they're going to be spending the next 5 years talking shit about his offensive line until the man fades out of the NFL, because it's what happens to all of them.
Right. Yes, every single one of them. Patrick Mahomes is the only dynamic, athletic, running outside the pocket quarterback that's ever won the Super Bowl that I can think of. You know, I mean, you've had some guys that are, you know, mobile, but, you know, Patrick Mahomes' our whole identity is, you know, running outside the pocket. And those guys just don't last. And they usually don't win the Super Bowls, but he did. So, of course, you know, everybody's like, oh, my gosh, he's the next Michael Jordan. I think he's got some serious issues going on now. You know, we said this, that, you know, Kansas City was going to have a Super Bowl hangover. You know how hard it is to get over a beatdown like that on the national stage. Teams just don't do it. Mm-hmm. You don't do it.
Look at Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta
they went 5 years ago and they still haven't recovered.
They've never recovered from that. Mm-mm. And they won't. I mean, Matt Ryan has played worse every year. And now he's just playing like total dog crap. So Patrick Mahomes, he comes out this year, and they've just been stinking the joint up. He's thrown more interceptions this year so far than he has all last year, you know. And then this week, he's running outside the pocket, and he got hit. And, you know, Molly will tell you this. I mean, I stood up. I thought he broke his back. You know, I was like, oh my gosh. But, you know, and it happens a lot where a player gets hurt and the announcers don't notice it until after the play and all this. But I was like, oh my gosh, he's hurt. You know, he's out of this game. You know, this might end his season. I thought he was a lot hurt than what. I didn't think he was going to be able to walk off the field. But between the Super Bowl hangover, you know, you get your butt whooped on national TV, live stage, in the biggest game on the planet. You get embarrassed. Overcoming that is damn near impossible. It takes a special type of person to do it. And then you come out, you start playing bad, and then you get hit like that. I mean, that was, you know, he was laying there, and they did a close-up of his face.
He was confused.
He was out for a few seconds. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it was like drool was probably coming out of his mouth, but I guarantee you he was sitting there thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, this was that had to hurt. Mm-hmm. And he's laying there, and he was just like, his life sucks. You know, and he's like, I'm done. You know, he's going to be gone for a couple weeks, I'm sure. And
I think that he cleared the concussion protocol.
I would be surprised if he comes back and plays after a couple of weeks. I think he needs to take some time off, clear his head.
Yeah.
You know, and try to get back into mentality. But it drives me crazy when I see these quarterbacks run outside the pocket and they hold the ball silly, you know, and they're running and they're juking and they're doing all this. And I'm like, gosh, all it's going to take is one big hit to ruin your career. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I hate that the sports media pushes that stuff, you know, and they're like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. And, you know, it's highlights and all this. And how many times have we seen this where, you know, these guys, you know, they're boosted up, you know, they get endorsements for being this way, and then bam, their career's over. You know, one good hit. Mm-hmm.
Well, Andy Reid came out today and said he's expected to play Monday.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it might be a wake-up call to him.
Yeah.
You know, he might stay in the pocket a little bit more. Mm-hmm. They just learn how to outsmart your opponent. That's really what the quarterback position is about. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody wants it to be this, you know, highlight play, dunking on everybody all the time. It's like, no, it's, you know, you got to know when to take your wins, when to take your losses, and put your team in the best position to win at the end of the game. All that good shit. You know, it's just like, it drives me crazy. But yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I love watching it. I like watching guys, you know, do spectacular plays. But to me, that's not football. That's something that happens every now and then. You know, but they try to do it every play.
Yeah.
And, you know, I hope the guy's all right. And it would be great if he, you know, changed his style of play. become more of a pocket passer.
But then what kind of quarterback is he? I mean, I just don't.
Right. Then the media would probably move on to the next guy that's flashy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've seen this song and dance before.
Too many times. But as a matter of fact, it's one of the things me and Molly want to do as a project, is sit down and write down all the players that have gone through this. Mm-hmm. The media has just lifted up as, this is the next, Michael Jordan or whatever. And then, they get hurt and they're out of the league. Mm-hmm. But RG3 is, to me, the perfect example. Mm-hmm. He was...
Took him to the playoffs that year. Mm-hmm. Everyone loved it. There were jerseys everywhere.
Yep. That was a big, big, big thing, man. And we got coaches fired, which is normally what happens. Usually they'll fire the coach first, and then they can't explain. They think, why is the quarterback not playing as great as he used to? It must be the coach.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I really like Patrick Mahomes, though. I'd like to see him turn into be in the league for a long time. Mm-hmm.
His wife had a baby this year.
But there you go. Maybe that's it.
I don't know.
Y'all guys got to stop doing that.
I know.
Have babies
it rewires your brain.
It does. I'll tell you that. And the sleep. You don't get the sleep.
Yeah, the sleep is a big thing.
Yeah. All right. We do not have enough time to go into the Jon Gruden stuff. But here's what I'm going to do. Molly, let me know if you agree with this. I'm going to put it out there to the listeners. I mean, do y'all want us to talk about it? We don't, but at the same time, we really, really do. We feel like we got stuff we need to say. But this is a football podcast, and it's entertainment. And, we don't want to be negative, and we don't want to be throwing in stuff that doesn't really have anything to do with football. Mm-hmm. So y'all let us know. You send us an email, leave comments, hit us up on the messengers, all the stuff y'all normally do. And, just let us know. Do y'all want us to...
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah. Do you want to hear our view on this mess? But right now, we don't have enough time. We got
a kid to pick up.
We got a kid to pick up.
Stop.
Yeah. Anything else, Molly?
I think that about covers it.
That about covers it. All right, guys. It was a great game. It was probably one of the best games I've watched in a long time since the Super Bowl. It's just fun to just see us just beat up on people. And while I enjoy a closer game for the entertainment value, it was very relaxing to just sit there and go, look at these sacks. Oh, look at that strip. Oh, look at that interception.
Look at that beat down.
This was a stat game. We just everybody increased their stats all the way around. Tom broke some records. So it was fun. A very fun game for us. Yeah.
It was a good day.
Yes.
So I guess we'll be back Wednesday with the film review and then Friday with a preview.
Yep.
All right.
The All 22 hasn't come out yet. It'll come out tomorrow morning. I'll have it. I'm going to get on top of it. I've still got to do the Philadelphia and the Atlanta game. I'm probably going to save them till the bye week. I really wanted to get to the Philadelphia game, but just haven't been able to. Just so backed up on stuff. All right, guys. We're going to leave the description in the link in the description for the sponsorship. If y'all want to throw some change our way, that'd be nice. And keep us accountable. Keep us incentivized, I guess is the word. So, if it's something, we've had quite a few people asking how they could support us and, if we sell T-shirts or anything of that nature, and we just never done it. And
it's all on the list.
It's all on the list, yeah. So if that's something you want to do, we'd appreciate it. And the link will be around somewhere in the description or something. So keep an eye on it. And if you can't find it, shoot us an email or whatever, and we'll let you know where it's at. All right, guys. That'll do it for us.
You can do it. Okay, let's try it again.
Okay. That's it for us, guys. Till next time.
Go Bucs.